Hello everyone. I wanted to quickly walk you through how we do spec recipes at our restaurant group, just to give you some kind of possibilities for yourself. So the first thing we do is we go ahead and we pull a menu item analysis, and we pull it for a pretty decent range. Walking you through those steps, if you have multiple locations, you'll want to pick the location, and then, like I said, a good long range. When you go into your menu item categories, if you haven't sorted, you'll want to select all. I've already sorted mine to some degree, so I'm just choosing food. What you see here might not be the same as what you have at your location. That is totally up to your organization. And just a quick walkthrough, your menu item 2. Here's kind of what we've done with it. Again, that's totally up to what makes sense for you all. And then we do have some item 3s built, just to kind of help us limit down even further. And then I do always go in and choose to collapse instead of expand. I do that because I don't care in this situation what restaurant it is. I'm only pulling one. But I also mark yes on show zero sales. This is a little bit misleading. It doesn't mean zero sales. It means $0 sales. So if the price is zero and you don't have that marked, it will ignore it. And then of course I click on run, and I've got that report already open. But just on a quick side note, I always have Toast open, and I always also have the inventory open in case I need to look and see what specific item they might use at their restaurant. So the first thing I do is I get our recipe book, our spec book, and I just kind of walk down the first time I'm walking through something. So I'm going to look for Brussels sprouts, and it helps to have your fingers on the right buttons. And I type that in search, and it will go through and find those for me. And once it's pulled that, it'll highlight the correct one, and then I'll be able to actually mark that. So that is actually a bulk, so I actually want to skip that one. So I'm going to go to next, as we are about ready to do that. Brussels and carrots is not the correct thing, and sometimes it can be fun to go in and find if you sell a bunch of different things. And it looks like all of ours are named Brussels and carrots, and yet we don't actually have. So now I go back to, here's why I keep Toast open. I'm going to go to my menus and actually look, make sure I'm on the right restaurant, and look to see exactly what it's called in here. And it is roasted Brussels and carrots. So this recipe has to be wrong, so I'll actually notify our people that that one is incorrect, and I'm going to go ahead and look to see if maybe that's just an old recipe and there's a new one in here. Looks like that's negative, so we'll just skip that and go to the next one and look for sweet, and that's going to be a bad search. We'll look for sweet potatoes now, and while that's going and pulling, so half Dutch oven, I can look at the price and know that that's also a bulk item. In that situation, I know a pint is also, and notice that I just keep scrolling until I find one that looks about right. So now we're going to go in. That opened up another page for us, and I'm going to look by typing in exactly how we build our recipes. And it didn't pull anything, so this is a new recipe. Notice that I typed it exactly how I'm going to want it to appear. So spec, the name of the item, and then the restaurant. And if I hit tab, it will ask me if I want to add a new recipe. I say yes. And then once that's loaded, I come in, and on a spec recipe, your measure type, your reporting U of M should always be each. We do want to mark it as available in inventory whenever we can. At our restaurant group, we put all specs in grocery. So we choose that, and inventory unit of measure is each. And we're not actually going to count these in our inventory, but this does allow us to count them as waste. So we are going to fill in our waste account. The waste account should be just a reporting account. We don't have one set up for it, so we just report it back to grocery cost. It has no effect on that at all. It's just getting that filled in. And then under recipe, your yield is going to be one of each, and your portion is going to be one of each. Because remember, a spec is what's actually going to the guest. Then we're going to skip over to ingredients, and we're going to type in what we see here. And we're going to have a bunch, so we're going to actually look for prep Dutch oven sweet potatoes ISO. We know that's the right one. We're going to make it match that. And we're going to look and see the garnish we're not going to put on there because we don't have a measurement for it. And it's not something that we currently track. So we save and close. We make sure that we have our category 1 and category 2 filled out here, and save and close. And then we always go ahead and look again to see if we have it in the database twice, which is completely possible because you might have your you might have your batch and your other on there. So spec, and as soon as you see it, you can go ahead and pick it. That is obviously not an entree, it is a side. So we save and close, and we keep doing that until we've seen all of the sweet potatoes possible. This is actually also, this is what I was talking about. We have on our modifier groups sweet potatoes, so we also need to add it there. And everything's filled out correctly, and you just keep walking through until you're done. And that's back to the pint, which we do not care about. We will care at some point. We're just not quite there yet, and hopefully that's going to be back to the beginning of the report. So that's all of them we do. I do want to walk you through one other thing real quick, just to show you an example of what we do when we're missing product. So notice that we have a bunch of prep recipes that have an asterisk next to them. That means that something is missing, and it should have a description out to the side, letting whoever's looking know what is the problem. And I'm going to go ahead and drill in a little bit. Just search for Iron Star, and notice our spec is missing beef tenderloin on the beef tenderloin salad. So that'll mean something to the culinary director, who's the one that would go in and edit that for me. But that's just our way of notifying them that there is a problem and giving them the idea of what it is. And just to show you how we do that, we will go in and look, we put that underneath the description, which gives them a clear indicator when they're on the recipes that there is a problem. So just wanted to walk you through that real quickly. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.